ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ
Yes.
ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆಪ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಧು ಹಾಕಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿ. ಇದ್ರೊಳಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬೋದಾ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆಪ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್
Yes,
ಅಲ್ಲಿ?
sir. Yes, sir.
This link is ready. I mean, join. Welcome.
I forget, what does ATAL stand for? AICTE?
Sir, AICTE Teaching and Learning.
Teaching and Learning Academy.
Academy.
And L is for?
Learning, sir. Teaching, A is for and learning. AICTE
Okay,
Teaching
okay.
and Learning.
So Academy is not there.
Yeah, no, in that it's not there. Yeah. It's ATAL Academy.
The third letter A is for and.
And, yes, sir.
Okay.
It starts. I will come in one. Anyway,
Okay.
they will join. Yeah. Good morning to all of you. Respected today's speaker, Sarathi sir, General Manager, Retired Canamatel India Limited. My dear colleagues and dear participants who are distinguished professors and research scholars, various institutions all across our nation. I welcome you all for this online ATAL Academy sponsored FTP on 3D printing and design. At the outset, I would like to thank ATAL Academy officials for sanctioning the proposal of FTP to our college, along with one more program which is organized by Electrical and Electronics Department, UVC, today itself. Before I speak about this FTP, I would like to tell about the legacy of our college, UVC, which started as the 5th technical college of the nation in 1917. Now it is not out at 103. This college has started as mechanical engineering school with diploma in mechanical engineering, civil engineering in 1913 to fill the shortfall of engineers in the state of Karnataka, then called Mysore state. And later it emerged as the College of Engineering in 1917. This has happened due to the effort of the great engineer and visionary of our country, Sir Mokshigundam Vishweshwaraya, who was fondly called as Sarathi. Sarathi not only boosted irrigation facilities but also saved a large number of people from floods. He was an engineering pioneer of India whose genius reflected in harnessing of water resources by building dams all across our nation. To give some examples, in 1909, when the city of Hyderabad was danger in getting flooded, Vishweshwaraya was appointed as special consultant engineer to make the city flood-proof. His inventive engineering work saved the Visakhapatnam port from sea erosion. Vishweshwaraya is credited with inventing the block system, automated doors that closes the water overflow. He designed and patented the floodgates, which were first installed at the Kadakwasla Reservoir in Pune 1903. Thus, every year our country celebrates Engineers Day on September 15th on the birth anniversary of Sarathi. In November 1909, Saram Vishweshwaraya was appointed as Chief Engineer of Mysore State, and he was the 19th Diwan of Mysore for PWD and Railway from 1912 to 1919. Under the ruler, His Highness Nalvadi Krishna Rajendra Vadiyar, who was ruling the Mysore State then. Saramvi transformed the Mysore State into what was then known as the model state of India. For his numerous industrial, economic, and social projects, some of them like government soap factory, and now it's named as Mysore Soap and Detergents Limited, Mysore Bank, now merged with SBI, and construction of Krishnarajasagara Dam in Mysore during 1911 and it's completed actually in 1932, the biggest in Asia at that time. He was called father of modern Mysore. The topics to be covered in the FTP and 3D printing and design will give the faculty members a comprehensive knowledge which will be helpful in understanding and implementing these technologies while designing their curriculum. Working on these technologies through the FDP will provide a deeper understanding about these topics, which will in turn help the faculty members to convey better knowledge to their students. In the early 1980s, the use of 3D printing technology came into existence as stereolithography for prototyping the products, later as additive manufacturing, and now it is called as 3D printing. It is into manufacturing sector in various production industries, replacing the complex procedures of manufacturing process and assembly. And I intended one program and heard one automotive industry has replaced its jig, which was weighing 20 kgs, with a 3D printed jig of 3 kg in their assembly workshop. When I attended one program, they said actually this. So the jig which was weighing 20 kgs, they replaced with a 3 kg 3D printed jig of 3D printed jig in their shop floor. That may be in Mahindra. It is now into industries of aerospace, automotive, medical sports, and so on and so forth. Now it is also into civil engineering in construction field. And recently I saw a video, a building of 2 floors, which is actually 3D printed in Dubai. Anyway, this workshop will throw the light on all the aspects of 3D printing technologies. And also there will be a session to build the 3D printers, then reverse engineering using 3D scanning and its applications in various fields in all these 5 days, sorry. Important information for all of you that it's my duty to tell you that it is necessary to get 80% of attendance and you have to score 60% in the test, what we have planned to conduct on 9th October to get your digital certificate. I request all of you to please attend all the sessions of young speakers who are enthusiasm to dissipate their knowledge and encourage them to present better in future. We have to upload actually attendance details on daily basis and test marks at the last day to ATAL website to generate. They will generate a digital certificate after some 2 days. They said actually after 2 days of uploading all the details. After uploading all the details, you will get a link to give the feedback in the ATAL website itself. So after you fill the feedback, it takes 1 day time to get the digital certificate printed, and you can download in the website itself. I thank you all for registering this FDP on 3D printing and design, which has encouraged us to have this content. Thank you. Welcome all of you. Before I want I'll introduce today's speaker, D. Sarathi sir, a graduate mechanical engineer from Karnataka Regional Engineering College, Surathkal. Now it's called as NITK. Served in manufacturing industry for over 35 years in different functions and retired from active services in 2014. After graduation, he joined the erstwhile Vidya in Bangalore as a graduate engineer trainee, served his initial days in production design and development, later moved to head various functions in Vidya and Kennametal of India, in the field of production engineering, research and development, quality, machine tool business, manufacturing, and lastly, an integrated supply chain and logistics. In his tenure in Vidya and Kennametal, has traveled to Europe, US, Japan, Israel, and China. I was responsible for introducing CAD, CAM, and CAE in Vidya at a time when these tools were new and still maturing. Sir was instrumental in restructuring the machine tool business and build it as a strategic business unit. In the area of manufacturing, his focus was to achieve excellence in manufacturing and to establish the Indian operations as a global base, exporting products to Europe, US, and the East. Sir is a passionate engineer in tool engineering and business processes, is also engaged in educating budding engineers in these areas. Sir has also served on the boards of Kennametal, Shared Services Private Limited and Extrude Hone India Private Limited. Sir is currently serving as the honorary chairman of National Institute of Quality and Reliability, Bangalore, and is an invited speaker to engineering colleges on cutting tool engineering and lean manufacturing. and also is a sports enthusiast, particularly in cricket, tennis, and badminton, being his main interest. Practices heartfulness meditation and is a heartfulness trainer, also disseminating the practice to the spiritual seekers. He resides in Helanka, Bangalore, with his wife Anuradha and son Anish. Welcome you, sir. I'll hand over to you to start the session. You can start your session, sir.
Thank you so much for the kind words of introduction. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. A very good morning to all of you. And I am privileged and honored to be here to speak to you all on a very different topic. I'm not going to talk about rapid prototyping or additive manufacturing, but I'm going to talk to you about stress and stress management. That's going to be different, but I think irrespective of what we do, whether we are an engineer by profession or a doctor or anything, any activity that we are involved in, the fundamental thing is to see how we can lead a good life. And these days we talk a lot about stress, how to get relief from stress. We have different schools of thoughts, different ways of looking at stress and how to reduce stress. Okay, we'll talk about it as we go along. And so let me express my gratitude and thanks to the organizers for inviting me to this talk. And I hope I will be able to do something as a justice to this 1.5 hour session that we are going to have. And and I expect that all participants carry back something out of these 90 minutes of session with me. So let me begin by saying, it's an admission that I have to make that I am not any kind of an expert on stress or stress management, neither am I a psychologist. As Mr. Shantraj said in the opening remarks in the introduction, I am basically a mechanical engineer like most of you. And I worked in manufacturing industry for 35 years. And so my thing is all about being practical on the ground. So what I'm going to share is going to reflect what I've learned, and some of it I've used the YouTube channels, and some of the slides that I'm going to talk about also are picked up from the net, just to make the understanding easier and simpler. So before I start off my presentation, let me also share with you that I'm going to have this session in two parts. One is I'm going to talk about stress and poise, which is the main topic. That's going to take me about 45 to 50 minutes. And then after that, we will practically do what we call as heartfulness meditation. I will introduce you to what heartfulness meditation is, why we should meditate, and what are some benefits we can expect out of that. And then we will practically go through a relaxation and meditation process today. So that will be the last half an hour. We will provide about 10 minutes for question answers at the end. So if you have any questions as we go along in my presentation, you can just put it on the chat box. Mr. Madhu is going to collect all the questions, and after the session and the last 10 minutes we'll reserve for answering these questions. I will do my best. I may not be able to provide all answers, but whatever I can, I will. So in this, while I am presenting, you will all be muted, but in the question answer session, we will unmute to those of you who have who will raise their hands to ask a question.
Yes,
okay?
I can do that, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. So let me begin with the first slide. So the topic is from stress to poise, the heartfulness way. So we got to split this into three parts: stress, poise, and heartfulness way. Okay. And let's start with stress. So what do we understand by stress? So stress is nothing but a mental state or an emotional state where we feel some kind of a tension. which could arise out of an adverse or a demanding circumstance. The circumstance could be either real or imaginary. I mean, we all understand that, there can be situations where we are physically present, where we get stressed. We also have imaginary situations that, suddenly you wake up in the middle of the night and find, oh my God, what's happening? I mean, nothing physically is happening, but then you look at some event that has happened which bothers you. So the threats and events or changes are commonly called stressors. And as I said, stressors can be internal, which could be thoughts, beliefs, attitudes, or external, which could be some loss or tragedy or some change you are not able to cope up with. So look at these images, and I'm sure we would have all had circumstances where we would have had similar images if somebody had photographed us. So stress is something that is common to everybody. There is nobody whom you can say is stress-free, with zero stress. We'll come to that about what stress can do and what are some negative and positive aspects as we go along. I'm just going to walk you through this video for a minute. This is something that I have taken from a TED show from the YouTube. I've split this video into 3 parts. You will be seeing all the 3 parts in bits. So we'll start with the first bit.
I have a confession to make. But first, I want you to make a little confession to me. In the past year, would you just raise your hand if you've experienced relatively little stress? Anyone? How about a moderate amount of stress? Who's experienced a lot of stress? Yeah, me too. But that is not my confession. My confession is this. I am a health psychologist, and my mission is to help people be happier and healthier. But I fear that something I've been teaching for the last 10 years is doing more harm than good, and it has to do with stress. For years, I've been telling people stress makes you sick. It increases the risk of everything from the common cold to cardiovascular disease. Basically, I've turned stress into the enemy.
Okay.
I have.
So that is the start, just to tell you what stress can do. And I think you can answer the 3 questions she asked. How many of you experienced very little stress in the last 6 months, let's say, starting from the day that the pandemic started? Let's use that as the yardstick. And how many of you face moderate stress, and how many of you face a lot of stress? I mean, you can just capture your own thoughts on this. Take a few seconds to just go through this and just make a note on that. Okay, now going to the next step, what causes stress? I mean, each of us could be stressed for different things. I mean, all of us experience daily worries. We start with, getting up late in the morning and rushing through the day, and then you miss the bus and whatnot. That is one type of stress that we experience. We also experience fear. I mean, like today, I'm supposed to speak, and, it puts me some kind of stress. A fear because I'm not used to this very often, and I do it once in a way. Okay. So for students, it could be what parents expect out of them. For teachers, it could be how do I make students work on a certain project, things like that. There are also some cases where, you're crippled with fear. And this could be some thing that you are reliving what has happened in the past, a wound that has caused you years ago. So these can also make the fear much deeper and can cause a lot of stress within us. Okay. So these are necessarily not physical events. It could just be that we have a fear because of our thought processes. Sometimes we are not able to cope up with what the situation demands. Like, let's say that students have a lot of tests to undergo in quick succession. Some of them are not able to cope up with it. I mean, so these are changes. These are things that can be demanding to an individual, and that can cause stress. The other thing that is, if you are used to a certain thing and something changes, we are not able to adapt to that change. We are all struggling, when the pandemic started, we didn't know what to do. We took our time. We went through a lot of stress to kind of readjust ourselves to what is, we call online learning today, the online session that we are having today. There's some positives to it and some negatives too. So now there is nothing that physically happens to us, but then these are all symbolic. But the body reacts. So what we see is the external reaction of the body. The images that you saw, with the hand on the head and, you don't know what to do. Those kind of images is what you see when somebody is stressed. So typically also that you will find that the examples that for the root cause of stresses could be just that, we are not loud enough. We feel abandoned. We feel that we have failed. We are hurting others, and fear of being judged by others. So there are a lot of things that are external to us that put some kind of pressure and fear on us. All these cause stress. So these multiple sources of stress are actually leading us to chronic stress situation, which can be very harmful to our health and overall well-being. So let's look at the next slide, which talks about what are some symptoms that you see. Mentally, if you look at, when you are stressed, you're not able to concentrate. You're not able to focus. So you tend to make either a decision in a hurry, not well thought of. You feel that, well, I should have thought of a little more than what I did after the event has happened. And then it can also result in mental lapses, memory lapses. You don't remember things on time. Typical thing that happens in an examination situation for students. Difficulty in making decisions. We are not able to make choices because we are clouded with so many different things. That is also the reason why we get confused. The extreme situation, we can get just disoriented. We are not aware of what's happening around us. We tend to send wrong messages to people across. And the worst thing can be panic attacks. We are so afraid, so fearful that we end up having a panic attack. So these are some things that are mental symptoms of stress. Now let's look at what happens in our behavior. So I'm just going to run through this list. Some of the things that happen is many people, when they are stressed, the first thing they go and do is eat some junk food. So it changes our eating habits. It leads to eating disorders, appetite. Then avoidance, withdrawal or isolation from others. We don't want to see somebody. We think, oh, he's going to cause me more stress, so I'm not going to look at it. We tend to avoid even our own peers, teachers, etc. sometimes. We also tend to do extreme things. Get into unhealthy habits, like I said about eating junk food, eating when you should not be eating, give up healthy habits. We don't exercise. We stop social network, things like that. And we also resort to over-medication. And, today drugs are available free. Most of it you can just get in the shop, across the counter. And we try to do a lot of these things which are not called for. Poor hygiene, change in close family relationship, procrastination, we are not able to decide, so we postpone all decisions. We don't attend classes, or we don't attend to our jobs. We end up with poor job performance, and we also get into other problems of administrative and legal. So these are certain signs of stress in terms of our own behavior. Now, coming to workplace stress, this is real. This is some data that has been picked up from US, because there's not much enough data available from the Indian sources, but I think we are not very different. Some of the drivers for stress in the workplace is that, completing a job against a deadline. You have to do it today, or you have to do a certain thing tomorrow, and you have to do a certain thing, let's say, in a week's time, and you are behind schedule. So that causes a lot of stress. Our own ability comes under question, and that's the reason we are stressed. Relationship is high impact, 53%. Staff management, our own subordinates not coping up with the work and things like that. I mean, these are things that are common in workplaces today. I think it is irrespective of whether one works in a factory or in a corporate office or in a college, and for to a large extent, even the student community. And to cope up with this, people tend to do certain things. To avoid a situation like this, we tend to oversleep, so we take some sleeping tablets, whatnot. We have sometimes, people take a lot of coffee to stay active. People smoke. People get alcoholic, whatnot. I mean, these are certain things that we try and do to cope up with the situation. So the need is for a holistic approach for well-being. This is probably more relevant today than what it was before. I can see it when I was a college student, and if I compare it, what the situation today is very, very different. Today's demands are probably 100 times bigger than what I used to face when I was a student maybe 50 years ago. So moving on to the next slide, the most common causes for work-related stress is cited to be the job reorganization or job insecurity. And this is probably more today in a pandemic situation where the economy is kind of struggling, and people resort to all kinds of things like job cuts, not paying the full salary, and the individuals have their commitments financially. All these kind of put a lot of stress on the individuals. We also have the other extreme of working long hours, excessive work. We don't have enough family time. We don't have enough recreation time. All these kind of add to our stress. We also can get bullied or harassed in our workplace. I mean, you could have bosses who are not very compassionate. They don't understand the employee well enough. I mean, these are certain things which can also cause more stress in the workplace. So the main reasons, if you see, are kind of job insecurity, excess work, and kind of harassed. These are the main reasons why workplace stresses are high. Now, if you look at this slide, which talks about again the US data, what can this stress do to us? It can affect our cardiovascular system. It will impair our immunity system. It will impair our digestive system. It causes migraines, headaches. I mean, all these kind of things which many of us are facing today. Now, this slide just says that, stress can kind of actually avoid growth. I mean, it's a kind of a barrier for growth. We are not able to grow as we would like to, both in terms of our own professional career and also in terms of our own evolution from a human standpoint. The worst thing that happens is immunity. Stress is known to cause immunity loss. The body mechanism is so well designed and created by Almighty that it has its own immunity system against anything that tends to kind of attack our body. So that our basic immunity system, which is built in, collapses with extreme order of stress. And our own ability to think clearly gets kind of confused. I mean, it gets filtered because we are not able to clearly think when we are stressed. I just want to share with you one more thing on this immunity, and this is something I learned very recently while I was reading one of the articles. When a body is, suppose somebody is sick and he needs an organ transplant, for instance, what you do is, you import somebody else's organ and implant in the patient's body. And what will the body naturally do? It will react because it's a foreign body. So to avoid this reaction from the body, you introduce deliberately stress in the system. And the injections and things like that are given are kind of stress risers. Once the stress is raised, your immunity system collapses. So this is one positive thing that we do about how to prevent what you call a rejection of an outside body into our system. So, I mean, that's just an example of stress and how stress can kind of totally affect our immune system. The World Health Organization says stress is the world's biggest epidemic of this century. Now, quick thing on some things that we face on a day-to-day basis, what we can do to quickly kind of get over. Let's say we are stuck, we have a panic attack. We have something that has scared us very badly. And the immediate relief that you can do is, I don't know if I'm visible on the screen to everybody. Madhu, can I be made visible, because I'm going to demonstrate something?
So can you have to come out of share context. Otherwise, you have to join with
Okay,
one more instrument. If you have, can join with.
No, we'll do it at the end. We'll do it at the end. Okay, so just briefly, I will tell you what we have to do. When you are having a panic attack, all that you have to do is take a step back, do what we call as left nostril breathing. So what you do is close your right nostril with your thumb and inhale deeply with your left nostril and slowly release it through the left nostril. So do this 10 times and then see what happens. The panic subsides. Okay. Let's look at what's an antidote for anger. So what typically happens is if you observe yourself when you're angry, you're breathing in and breathing slowly while inhalation, and you're quick in exhalation. So what we do is do the reverse. Do a fast inhalation and a slow exhalation, then do it a couple of times and see how the anger subsides. Emotions. Emotion is typically, fast breathing in, breathing out. So change the whole pattern to slow inhalation and slow exhalation and see whether your emotions come under control. Okay. So the next tip I'm going to talk to you about is when you are loaded with too many things and your mind is just cluttered. So what do we do in such a situation? How do we actually get over a situation where we think that we are overloaded, I'm not able to handle the situation? I mean, take a pass. So what are some things that we can do? First thing is we should not panic. Even if we panic, do that breathing exercise for 10 minutes, for 10 times. Then sit down, go to your table, take a piece of paper and pencil and write down. Start writing down what are all the things that I have to do, what I need to do. I mean, there are so many things you want to do. Forget about all that. You just see what are the things I necessarily have to do. Table them. And don't leave the table till you complete the whole list. Now, the whole situation is when you think that you are loaded with too many things, it affects your clarity. But if you have a finite list, now that you have written down, let's say you have got 20 lists on your agenda, then you feel a little comfortable. You feel, oh, I can still manage this 20. So the good thing is when you make this list, you know that you are in a manageable situation. So then what you do is look at this list and then start writing down what are the things that I necessarily have to do and what is it that I don't have to really do it now. I can do it a little later, or they are not critical. And don't go by what someone else tells you. And don't go by your ego. There are certain things you like to do, but don't go with that. Do from what actually is needed. Look at it from that standpoint rather than our own egos. Now you narrow down this list and start prioritizing. I mean, what I used to do was if I have 20 different items that is bothering me, I list down these 20 and I start writing down A, B, C classification. What's topmost in priority, what is medium priority, and what is low priority. Then I start writing a schedule, what I'm going to do. So while you make the schedule, just be aware that there are certain things you necessarily have to do. Like if you're a professor having to handle classes, I mean, just make sure that you put those timetable in place. Okay. Try this. It's a wonderful thing. And I have experienced a lot of good things happening with this thing. Okay. Now let's look at is stress good or bad? So how many of you think stress is bad? I don't want an answer, but just make a mental thing. And how many of you think that stress is good? Okay. So now let's walk through some of the things that we will understand a little better about stress and stress management. So, stress can be positive. This is what we hear from psychologists. And there has to be some optimum level of stress for us to act as a motivator. So what happens is when you're stressed, the adrenaline goes up. But the positive thing about adrenaline is that it increases focus. It brings a lot of engagement and performance can improve, which can result in a happier and satisfactory situation. But when the stress is too high, it turns into distress. It becomes unmanageable. So this is something that we have to be aware of. Where do I draw a line? What's the threshold of my stress levels? So look at this slide. If there is low, this is something like when the stress is very low, you just see you are relaxed, you sleep, you do nothing kind of thing. And slowly as the stress level goes up, you become a little alert. Then there is something called optimum stress. That's a stress where, it doesn't get into a distress phase. You don't get anxiety. You don't get into some kind of a confusion. But then you are confident that you can handle the situation. That's an optimum level. And you're motivated to do certain things. So that's an optimum stress. But too high a stress can lead to anxiety. You tend to become disorganized. And the extreme situation, you can get depressed too. So now the whole thing is, how do I keep myself within the limits? So let's watch this video.
This side of stress going to make you healthier. Well, oxytocin doesn't only act on your brain, it also acts on your body. And one of its main roles in your body is to protect your cardiovascular system from the effects of stress. It's a natural anti-inflammatory. It also helps your blood vessels stay relaxed during stress. But my favorite effect on the body is actually on the heart. Your heart has receptors for this hormone. And oxytocin helps heart cells regenerate and heal from any stress-induced damage. This stress hormone strengthens your heart. And the cool thing is that all of these physical benefits of oxytocin are enhanced by social contact and social support. So when you reach out to others under stress, either to seek support or to help someone else, you release more of this hormone, your stress response becomes healthier, and you actually recover faster from stress. I find this amazing that your stress response has a built-in mechanism for stress resilience. And that mechanism is human connection. This side of stress going to make you healthy.
Okay, that's something we hear positive about stress. And let's go with how we are now going to manage stress and how we can utilize the stress energy into something positive. And that's the reason I called it poise. Okay, let's quickly run through some of these images that I'm going to show you. And just look at what strikes when you see these personalities. All of you know this, Dhoni. He is Captain Cool. And here is what Dravid had to say about Dhoni. He's a great leader by example. I have always admired his ability to remain balanced. Okay. Now let's look at Ratan Tata. Ups and downs in life are very important to keep us going because a straight line, even in an ECG, means we are not alive. So we have to accept the fact that we are going to have ups and downs. We are going to have situations demanding, which can cause a moment of stress. Okay. Now look at what Abdul Kalam has to say. Difficulties in your life do not come to destroy you, but to help you realize your hidden potential and power. Let difficulties know that you too are difficult. Wonderful statement. But also I would like you to see the statement on the right corner. He says, I am not a handsome guy, but I can give my hand to someone who needs help. Beauty is in the heart, not in the face. Now I'm going to show you some more clippings, and let's understand if they are stressful at all. See this. I mean, this is the Indian Army performing some activities on a motorcycle. I mean, how many of us can do this? How many of us can do this? How many as a group can do this? Does this cause stress? Let's see these two, how balanced they are. Okay. I mean, a short video clipping. This is okay. So let's take a minute on these slides that we just saw. We saw Dhoni, we saw Abdul Kalam, we saw Ratan Tata, we saw the Indian Army guys doing the thrill on the motorcycles. And then we also lastly saw the video of Nadia Comaneci, who was the first athlete to get a perfect 10. And what do you see of these images? To talk about Dhoni, we say, oh, he's such a cool guy. He's calm, he's collected. He is not kind of ruffled by situations of stress. If you look at Nadia Comaneci, poise. I mean, such a perfect styling and perfect balance of the whole thing that she did. She got a perfect 10. So this is what I call as poise. That you are balanced, you are serene, you are confident, you keep your cool, you don't get distracted. I mean, this is something that leads one to have an attitude of poise. So it's an adverse situation that our poise will be tested. If we come across those situations successfully, then the realization of poise will be more firmly established than before. I mean, look at these pictures too. So let's watch this video, which is the last part of
experiences in my life, but this science has given me a whole new appreciation for stress. Stress gives us access to our hearts. A compassionate heart that finds joy and meaning in connecting with others. And yes, your pounding physical heart working so hard to give you strength and energy. And when you choose to view stress in this way, you're not just getting better at stress, you're actually making a pretty profound statement. You're saying that you can trust yourself to handle life's challenges. And you're remembering that you don't have to face them alone.
Okay, so this is a wonderful statement. How can we use the energy positively? And she talks about, Kelly talks about what we call as stress resilience. How can we actually expand our horizon of stress? If I'm at a given point, I am able to tolerate this amount of stress, can I tolerate more amount of stress and still be effective? So I think the critical message she has given is that if we start believing that stress is helpful, then it is positive. The body rises to the occasion. Okay. She also talks about the heart-based feelings of compassion. We not only talk about taking others' support, we also talk about supporting others. So all these are positive contributors to kind of improve our stress tolerance or stress resilience. Now, all this can happen only if we are kind of centered in ourselves. You look at this, all of us are familiar with the top. whereas the periphery is rotating at whatever speed it is, the center looks to be still. And if we are able to center ourselves, we can have that stillness within us. And how to do that is what we will learn through heartfulness meditation. Just want you to listen to this audio, which is just 1 minute, but I'm afraid this audio is not very clear. But I would suggest that if you can keep your volumes to the maximum, you will be able to hear something. Okay? At least the main things that is getting conveyed. Please try. Okay, I hope you were able to hear something. And let me just summarize this for you. This is from our spiritual leader, Sarathi Rajagopalachari. I mean, the key points out of his message is that, stress is driven by our ego. I think if you think deeply, it's our ego which is actually driving stress. Stress, he defines as is the gap between ambition and achievement. If you're too ambitious, we are achieving less, our stress goes up. Larger the gap, higher is the order of stress. And today's world, we are pulled in all different directions. And all that is causing stress. But if we can stand apart and substitute ambition with aspiration, that's the major trick. And that's something that we can all be saved from having extreme order of stress. So what is the difference between ambition and aspiration? Ambition is all about having. I want to have this car, I have to have this house, I want to have this, I want to become the head of the department, all this. Whereas becoming is something that, you become something, is more aspirational. Like the teacher would be most happy if he finds that he is able to inspire his students to learn. Not that, the teacher thinks that he has to pump all the knowledge into the heads of students. So that's a key difference between ambition and aspiration. So ambition is more kind of selfish, whereas aspiration is more kind of universal, selfless, and kind of gives out a generosity of the heart. Now, all these talk about heart. So if we have to kind of de-stress ourselves and lead a comfortable life, so we need to find out some mechanism through which we can kind of lead a balanced life. Not that we are going to be stress-free, but we are going to have stress in control. We are not going to get into a situation of getting too anxious or too distressed or depressed. So how do we manage this whole thing is what is one of the main aims of heartfulness meditation is. Now, I'm going to talk to you about heartfulness meditation for the next couple of minutes. And we are also going to have an experience of heartfulness meditation. Now, typically, what does meditation mean? Meditation is nothing but to fix our thought on one particular have one particular thought for a given period of time. I mean, that's a technical definition of meditation. But in actual meditation, we would like to have the thought as something which is kind of ultimate. So how to do that is what we will learn today. And let's look at these elements of heartfulness meditation. There are 4 key elements to heartfulness meditation. One is relaxation. this is it is a technique to relax ourselves in both our body and the mind. It takes a few minutes. We will learn that today. We can also teach this to others. So that's a part of relaxation. And let's look at meditation. So meditation is something that is connecting ourselves to regulate our mind. And we will experience this today. And this kind of brings a kind of centeredness and a focus to our entire being. So it doesn't matter what you are doing, whether you are doing something in the arena of sports or in a classroom or anything, unless you have that focus, you will not be able to excel or do your best. So meditation gives you that kind of centeredness so that you are able to do things more effectively and in a manner that it is well accepted, and also doesn't cause stress to yourself or stress to others. The third aspect of this is what we call as rejuvenate. This is kind of remove all those impediments that come in our way, which is primarily impacting our emotions and our consciousness. So how we do that, I don't know if we have time in the subsequent days we can do, but today we have time to do relaxation and meditation. If there is something that the entire group wants, we can do a half-an-hour session tomorrow on how to do rejuvenation. And also the last aspect, which is called connect, which is connecting to our inner self. We have the all-present, omnipotential, what do you call as the source within us. How to connect ourselves to the source so that we can draw enormous amount of energy from within. And so that is another technique that we can learn. So it depends. If there is willingness on your part, we can do this in the next 2 days. I'm going to skip all this because we're going to just go through this practically. Basically, it says that meditation helps you relax your body, regulate your mind, balance, and tune your heart. Stay tuned to your heart. So we'll practically experience this, not say much about it. There are a lot of personal benefits, a lot of benefits to the organization. But on a personal side, it gives you inner peace, clarity of thought, inner transformation, positivity. In terms of corporate behavior or when you're working in groups, teamwork, performance enhancement, greater focus, better quality of work, all this. Overall, it gives you a sense of inner wellness. So that is what is the aim of meditation. So let's look at what are the key takeaways. Plan and introspect, that's what we learned, how to convert stress to help you. Reduce multi-dimensional stress. If you have this opportunity to learn this technique of cleaning, we will do it tomorrow. It takes about half an hour. Centering yourself is something that we will achieve through meditation. Get help and support is, when you sit with a heartfulness trainer and see what we can do together. So this is something that I put it as key takeaways. So now I will walk you through how to meditate. And so we'll all go through this experiment. And now to begin with, let me ask you all to kind of shut yourself off from any kind of disturbance that can happen around you. Your mobile phones or whatever it is should not distract you. And next 20 minutes, commit to yourself that you are not going to get distracted. Okay. So meditation, heartfulness meditation is very simple to do. Anybody who is willing and who is wanting to try this out can do this. The only qualification is that one should be 15 years plus of age. And of course, the willingness to try should be there. Otherwise, unless there is willingness, you will not really participate. So let me explain to you how to do this meditation. If time permits, I will also show you a small video clipping of this. All you do is, you will sit comfortably. When I say please start meditation, you close your eyes, take your attention to your heart, And then you will start with a supposition that there is the source of light in your heart, and that is attracting you inwards. Now, when I say source of light, you don't have to imagine any kind of light. You just put a thought that there is source of light within your heart, and that is attracting you inwards. This is a kind of giving your mind and attention to your heart. Okay? And so stay with this and continue with this, just looking at your heart and looking at your feelings, trying to get centered in your heart for the period of meditation. Typically, you may experience some kind of thoughts and other things coming from outside. Just try to ignore them. If there are outside thoughts, outside distractions, just ignore them and bring your attention back to your heart. So that is all you will do in meditation till I say that's all. When you hear me say that's all, that's the time you can slowly open your eyes and the meditation is over. So very simple, right? So all of you can do this. I don't think there is any problem doing this. Okay. So I will just, before showing you the video clip, let me just tell you one thing. Before we do this meditation today, we will also do what is known as relaxation. That's just physically relaxing our body. So I will guide you through this process. I will tell you the steps. You just follow my instructions. That will kind of relax your body, and then we get into meditation. Okay. So now just give me 1 second. I will play the video on meditation, how to meditate.
Meditation is ideally done before sunrise. Sit comfortably, gently close your eyes and relax. Gently make a supposition that there is a divine light in your heart. Do it in a quiet, simple, and natural way without forcing your mind. Never mind if you do not see the light there. Try to be unmindful of the thoughts arising at that time. If your mind wanders, gently bring your attention back to your heart. Meditate for 30 minutes to an hour. After the meditation, observe your inner state for a few minutes. It is recommended to make a note of your observations and thoughts after the meditation.
So that's how you have to meditate. So if you're all ready, let's start with relaxation. I will give you the instructions, and then we can do the relaxation followed by meditation. I will guide you through the whole process. Okay? Shantaraj, Madhu, can we start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So can all of you make sure that you are seated in a comfortable posture? For the next 20 minutes, your posture should not disturb you. That's the idea. But don't lie down. Sit cross-legged if you want. If you want to sit on a chair, that's fine. You want to rest your back, that's fine. But don't lie down, that's all. Okay? Now, let's begin. So I will give you the instructions for relaxation, which will take you about 5 minutes. And after that, we will continue with meditation. And I will tell you to please start meditation, and then you stay with it till you hear me say that's all. So when I say that's all, Don't immediately open your eyes. Just you can stop meditation, look at yourself, see what happened in this whole process of meditation. What were you feeling before meditation, and how are you feeling now after meditation? Once you have done this exercise, then you open your eyes. Okay? Good. Okay, let's start with relaxation. Sit comfortably. Gently and softly close your eyes. Take your attention to your toes. Shake them or wiggle them a little and feel them relax. Relax your ankles and feet. Feel energy move up from Mother Earth through your feet up to your legs, relaxing your lower legs. Feel your ankles, feet, calf muscles, knees all relax. The energy moves up further, up your thighs, relaxing them. Now feel both your legs completely relaxed. Slowly breathe in and breathe out. Now deeply relax your hips, stomach, and waist. Relax your back. Feel your entire back from the top to the bottom. Feel your tailbone is relaxed. Now relax your chest muscles and shoulders. Feel all the tightness in your shoulders melt away, relaxing them. The energy flows down your arms now, relaxing your upper arms, your elbows, all the muscles of your forearms, your wrists, your hands, palms, fingers, all the way up to your fingertips. If the energy oozes out of your fingertips, go ahead. Slowly breathe in and breathe out. Now relax your neck muscles. Feel all the tension in your neck go away. The neck is now relaxed. Move your attention to your face. Relax your jaws, mouth, nose, ears, earlobes, your eyes, and all your facial muscles. Relax your forehead all the way up to the top of your head. Now feel your entire body from the tip of your toes to the crown of your head completely relaxed. Never felt so relaxed ever before. Now gently take your attention to your heart and stay there for a little while. Feel the calm and quiet of your heart. And slowly get immersed in the light and love of your heart. Now you are ready for meditation. Keep your eyes closed. Continue to sit comfortably. Keeping your attention on your heart. Make a supposition that the source of light is already present in your heart and it is drawing you inwards. With this supposition, please start meditation. If there are other thoughts coming, just ignore them and bring your attention back to the heart. To continue this process of just observing yourself, looking at your heart, till you hear, that's all. It would take about 10 to 15 minutes. Please start meditation. That's all. Keep your eyes closed for a while. You can stop meditation. Just observe how you're feeling now. Compare it with how you felt before starting meditation. You can now gently open your eyes. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for participating in this meditation session. Also, thanks for this opportunity given to me to speak to you all on stress and poise, on stress to poise. Now it's open for questions. If you have any questions, you can put it on the chat box and let's see if we can get answers for them.
Or should I ask them to raise their hands?
Yes, they can either put it on the chat box or if you can unmute them, they can ask you the question directly.
Yeah, if they raise their hands, then I can unmute.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the question is.
Yeah, somebody raised.
Yeah, I just got the question. It says, what do you mean by memory lapse? I mean, let me explain this from a student perspective. You know, the student does a lot of preparation for the examination, and then he goes to the exam, and you know, he's got a very familiar question, but he's not able to answer because this where he doesn't remember what the answer is. And after the examination is over, he comes out and says, oh my God, now I got the answer, but I didn't get it at the time of the exam. So I missed answering that question, but now I know this. I mean, all of us have gone through this phase, I guess. So that memory lapse is something that you are not able to kind of connect at a given point in time. So that's a memory loss. We are not talking about permanent losses, but we are talking about these kind of lapses. That's why we call it lapse. Does that answer your question, Mr. Gupta?
Somebody has raised their hand. I will just unmute. Okay.
Thank you.
Giridharan,
so there are different things they are telling about meditation. It is regarding your heart concentrating at heart, concentrating and between eyebrow. And what is the difference between these two? Because you are mentioning it to concentrate on heart. So yeah, I said like said heart means your attention will be on the center of the heart. There is what is the difference between because you are somebody used to do in between the eyebrow. Now you do it on heart. What will be the what do you feel that will be sure?
Okay, I got your question, but let me just tell you there are maybe hundreds and thousands different ways of meditation. Okay, and in heartfulness meditation, which we are talking about, we meditate on the heart. Let me just take a minute to explain why the heart and why not something else. See, the heart is kind of central to the whole physical body, right? The heart is where our physical, the blood, purified blood is pumped throughout the entire system. So in a way that if you purify your heart, you are purifying the rest of the body. Okay. Then, we all know that the seat of the soul is the heart. So our focus is on the heart because our ultimate aim is to be connected to the ultimate. So we, when we say divine, say a source of light, we are actually looking at an abstract thing. And because we don't yet know what that ultimate source is. And in this whole journey that we do meditation day after day is to find and see that our journey gets completed. So we are able to stay connected with the ultimate source. So that is the principle with which heartfulness meditation is given. And so it makes a lot more sense to look at the heart. We also listened to I'm just adding to whatever I said about the basic principle of why we meditate on the heart. We also looked at this video where, Kelly talked about compassion, connecting to the heart, all of that. So the thing that gets affected most, both in terms of physical and emotionally, is the heart. So if you are able to kind of regulate, if you are able to take charge of that, then you will have a much more balanced life. Now, the other thing is, there is the mind also. The mind is something that is always thinking. The mind's job is to think. So it always will think. But what happens is when you want to make a choice or a decision, if you have too many things on your head, you are not able to see clearly. You get confused. You are not able to see clearly. So how do we regulate this mind? So the regulation of the mind happens through the heart. Now, that is why we say, you tell the mind, look at your heart. And that is where we say that look at, the source of light in your heart. So you kind of center your mind. The mind is the most creative, most important part so far as the mental structure is concerned. But an unregulated mind can be chaotic. So to kind of give a direction, a orientation to the mind, it is the heart that gives that. So if you see, the heart is always telling you the right things. A person is also described by what his heart is. We say he's a kind-hearted person, he's generous-hearted, he's compassionate-hearted. All because the ideal things that we are looking for is all centered in the heart. And heart is where our guidance comes from within. So that is why the importance of meditating on the heart. I hope I clarified your question.
Any
Okay.
others wish to ask any queries? Otherwise, we'll end the session.
So if there are no questions, I just want to thank all the participants, the organizers, professors, and faculty members for giving this opportunity to be with you all. I hope you had some takeaways from my presentation. I wish the workshop, this 5-day workshop on 3D printing and design, all the very best. And I'm sure all of you will have 80+% attendance and they will all score 60+ marks and come out with flying colors. More importantly, you'll be able to deliver something back to society where these technologies can be used for the benefit of mankind. Thank you so much and all the very best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your session. I'll end the session now.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
So I can leave?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So there will be centralized inaugural session organized by AICTE. I'll send the link. That is again in WebEx. Actually, somebody has posted in the group that could have used Zoom. but AICT is restricted us to use that Zoom app. In that way, we opted this. Anyway, even that session, what they are doing, centralized inaugural function of all 48 FTPs that are commencing today. I'll send you the link of that. I want all of you to join. Okay, the session, it will be from 11 to 12. I'll end the session here, and again you have to come back at 11 o'clock. Sorry, 12 at 12. The same credentials. Okay, so you can use the same link and the access ID. Okay, to join the second session, which will going to start exactly at 12. Introduction to 3D printing. Madhu, if you have that, okay, I'll send that link. Otherwise, you can forward. Yesterday, I forwarded actually for inaugural session, which is started. Okay.
Okay, sir. I will send.
I got it. I'll send the group again.
Okay, send.
So you can join the using that event link or the event number, what they have mentioned with the event password. If you're not able to join directly. So if you have the app, WebEx app, you can just click on the link, it will directly take you to register. Or you can, without registering also, you can just join using that link. But better to register so that we can take the attendance of that. Anyway, the attendance will be taken in between the sessions, okay, as a screenshot of the attendee list. So where only your name will be available in that attendee, but we'll be able to see all the attendees in our list. Okay. Thank you for first session. Okay, so we'll join again at 12. So before 12, at say when as soon as it gets over, okay. So I want you to join at 12 exactly. They said AICT people said they'll go to end by 12 so that we can continue with our sessions. Okay. Can join again at 12 with the same link what we have sent in the morning.